Hi, welcome back to Tao of Twang. I'm Dave. This is day 2 of the 3-day improvisation crash course. If you haven't checked out day 1, I think it would be a good idea. Doesn't mean that this won't make sense to you, and usually I don't make such an issue out of following them in order, but these are really put together to be a whole exercise. And the videos aren't that long. So there'll be a thumbnail that looks identical to this one. Just say day 1 rather than day 2. And then we'll have a final day 3 coming up, hopefully tomorrow, if not the next day at the latest. So got some good feedback. Talked to a couple of people one-on-one about this exercise and, working through day 1. Just got done working with somebody one-on-one online and got some really good feedback from them and some great questions and the kind of questions that really are encouraging, right? You're looking for the right stuff. Okay, what's the next thing? Is it chord tones? Is it like another scale in addition to the E major scale and so forth? So there could be a lot of different pathways to take to kind of answer those questions and build this up for you. The one I chose for today, the main features is going to be some triad shapes. I've got each one of them drawn out. I played them in that demo right at the beginning, okay? I'm going to put them up here one by one. And then the rest of this day 2 challenge is just going to kind of be the same mindset, right? Get those under your fingers. And part of the idea of all this is to really be able to, kind of automatically play the scale by now. That's why I think it's important to go back and work through each day of this to where you can kind of turn off your brain when you're doing it, right? You're still thinking about the scale, and that's fine, but it's not taxing your attention, right? You can drift away, you can daydream while you're doing it. That's where the music starts. Okay, so let's jump right in here. Now, I'm not going to go over the progression and everything like we did yesterday. Again, jump back over there and check that out, or if you've already got it just from watching, that's fine as well. There's a lot of good information in the comments building up throughout this series. So these triads, let's put them right up here. And we'll, in a way, we're covering the progression as we go here, right? The first chord is E. And the triad shape that I have for that is, okay. So I made them, I think I just struck 3 strings in the demo. It's kind of like the feel of that. And the triad, the top note, the highest one being the top one, highest one sound-wise, is an octave of that lowest note to begin with, right? So it's the third of the E. Got a third, a fifth, and a root there. Okay, I'm not going to break it all down into every bit of its parts and pieces this time. Just kind of take these chord diagrams and see if you can work those out. And if they don't feel comfortable to you, with all your fingers down at once and so forth, and getting messy and blocking strings that you don't want blocked and so forth, then just kind of trace them out. Yeah, right? Just kind of make it work. And then the next chord is C sharp minor. Okay, and here's a shape for that. Again, the lowest one and the highest one are octaves of one another. So the meat and potatoes is these 3. Or these 3, I suppose, right? And you still end up with a root, a third, and a fifth. You don't always have to use the whole triad, right? So, but you want to be able to, kind of make a map of those, right? And then the next chord is B. Okay, and that's kind of, right, a truncated part of that bigger full bar chord for B. And then the last chord is A. Okay, and that one's kind of tricky too for some at different stages, right? But again, you can separate And then what we're going to look at real quickly is just how all of those are imposed over this E major scale, but not making a big deal out of it, right? It's just they're made of the same stuff. If we took the notes in the E major scale and put them in a bucket, we'd be able to pull out each one of these triads, right? Not adding anything else, just the arrangements of them. Think of them as like constellations that have some overlapping stars or something, right? So let's put the track on and just kind of trace those triads out. So here we go with the E at the top. Okay, then right back into our scale. Okay. Now, one thing I do want to point out to you here real quick is, there we go. Turn my track off. And let me mention this as well. I made a few notes in there that, a few flubs or whatever. I picked the same string twice when I meant to pick a different string. I didn't fret some of them that good. The timing was off a little bit from what I really wanted to do. But I'm not judging it. I'm not going back and fixing. I'm not stopping the video so I can show you an example of something that's contrived when I'm asking you to trust your musical process, right? That would be very, I don't know, imprudent. Is that words we can still use? So, yeah, let it go, man. Just keep going, right? Get that thing, put it on your looper, or, just don't look back. You'll get there. Just keep wandering until when you get to someplace that feels good, circle around there, and stay in that area and then wander off somewhere else. It's all going to work out. One thing I do want to mention, though, the original thing before I went on that walkabout was the B. You could move that 2 doors down in both instances of the triad shapes I showed you, or up or down rather. In this case, you could move the A. You could do A by moving that 2 doors down from B. Okay, this is the A that I showed you the diagram of. And so the same business would apply in reverse. You could walk that up 2 doors and it would be a B chord, right? So you kind of got 2 for 1 on those, right? The other 2 are kind of, their own thing. There's no other chords in the progression that replicate those shapes, right? Although the E and the C sharp minor themselves are very similar, aren't they? Okay, so the exercise is the same. Play the chords, get warmed up, try to kind of, I guess at this point, you got to do some learning of the scale or the triad shapes or both. But then at some point in your routine, go into the daydream, right? Pick small areas where you don't have to look and concentrate and sort of analyze what you're playing, and just listen for the notes and just really steep yourself in those notes. And in the conversation I had earlier with this fella, what we came up with is, care about each note, right? Not just, how I'm going to play the whole arpeggio and all that and so forth. Care about each sound that comes out. and slow things down to where you get a chance to really experience each little piece of it, but use these guidelines, the E major scale and these triad shapes. And then in day 3, we'll get into some embellishments like some bending and some of the kind of more dynamic things that we can do in our picking and our timing that will really start to stylize it. All right. Stay in a space of exploration throughout this 3-part series. And if you didn't see part 1, I'll ask once again, or recommend that you go back and watch that to really get the most out of this. And then I think you'll really be primed and ready for the final installment here in the next couple of days. I look forward to hearing from you and seeing and hearing what everybody does with this exercise. Thanks for all the feedback. Talk to you soon.